Good afternoon, everybody. This is Vonda Evans, and I'm so excited, about my new program. It's called Law for You. And what I'm going to do is every Wednesday we'll have a guest on who is a professional in a certain area so that we can give you more information. I want to do that because what I found from being a judge for many years and a lawyer is that many people just don't know their rights, and as a result of that, people are taken advantage of. So I want to give you an opportunity for me to question, and we're going to get questions already from different people who have inboxed me about areas of the law that they're concerned about. And what we wanted to tackle today was basically the no-fault insurance law. And so that's what we're going to do. And I hope you enjoy it. This has been a dream of mine, and it has now come to fruition. I do want to thank Renee of Renee's Flowers for sending me this beautiful arrangement for my first show. It was very, very kind, and I so appreciate what she has done for me. She's just a kind and wonderful woman of Renee's Flowers. Okay, very good. So let me tell you about my very first guest. My very first guest is a very good friend of mine, as he was a very good friend of attorney Marlon Blake Evans. They in fact went to school together. Well, as many of you know, many lawyers decide, especially African American, they all go criminal. And it's a good reason for that. It's an exciting area and it's a much needed area. But very few lawyers, especially African Americans, have chosen to go into the area of civil litigation. Civil litigation will deal with divorces, automobile accidents, personal injury, etc. And so therefore there is probably, and I don't want to quote, but I would probably say, less than 2 or 3% that actually practice in this particular area. Well, not only is he a friend of mine and was he a friend of Marlon's, he is what is called a super lawyer. He has a designation to be invited as a select lawyer, and he is screened to determine his qualifications to be considered for this publication. Not all lawyers are considered, and it's a very high criterion that they have to meet. Well, he was able to meet that, and as a result, he's going to be my first guest. He is skilled in the area of personal injury as well as probate. But today we're going to talk about specifically the Michigan no-fault law. And I want to, say, hi, Johnny, how you doing?
Judge Vonda, hello. I'm so sorry to call you Judge.
It's Vonda, okay?
Vonda Evans.
That's
hello,
right.
How are
okay.
you? Thanks for having me.
All right. I've answered less than of that, but we ain't gonna get into that right now. That's something else, okay? But look, let's go through this,
Sure.
and I'm really excited about this. Now, what is personal injury law?
Personal injury law is that area of law specifically that goes to assisting injured persons that have been injured as a result of some other's wrongdoing, intentional wrongdoing, negligence, carelessness, recklessness. Someone has been injured.
Okay, and what areas fall under personal injury law?
There are quite a few, from medical malpractice to police misconduct to auto accidents, to boating accidents, trucking accidents, any form of accident whatsoever, dog bites, premise liabilities, which are slip and falls, highway defects. So it's a lot.
Okay.
And again, if you're injured as a result of some wrongdoing or some defect.
Okay. What areas of law do you practice in primarily?
Primarily auto-related accidents, police misconduct, dog bites, and anything that's accident related.
Okay, very good. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the auto negligence in the state of Michigan. And I just want you to tell me how is the auto accident law commonly referred to in the state of Michigan? What is it?
It's classified or categorized as the Michigan no-fault law system, or Michigan no-fault.
All right, tell us in a nutshell, what's Michigan no-fault?
Well, it's basically that form of law that basically it is intended to help persons or compensate persons that have been injured as a direct result of having been involved in a motor vehicle accident.
Okay, very good. So you use some words I didn't understand.
Okay, all right.
And one thing that I used to always do as a lawyer, I mean, as a judge, I'm getting myself confused, is that I wanted to make sure that we break down certain terms. Certain terms that we use as lawyers is different from what maybe lay people. So when you talk about compensations of benefits, what are you talking about?
Talking about basically an individual has been involved in an auto accident, and as a result, they've been injured, and so they want to be paid for their injury and or to have the costs that they incur, like medical expenses, to be fully rehabilitated, lost wages. They want to be compensated for what they have lost or will lose temporarily or permanently as a result of an accident.
Okay, I'm learning as I go. You know, I did primarily criminal, but what I've learned is that there's two parties to this action, and one is called a first party auto no fault coverage. What does that mean, first party?
First party, okay, so with auto accidents, our system of no fault is divided into first party and third party. The first party portion deals with the insurance company, your own insurance company, properly compensating you when you're injured. So they would take care of your medical expenses. They would take care of any and all rehabilitation expenses that you might have. They would take care of your lost wages for the first 3 years. They would take care of your replacement services.
So you mean to tell me I'm driving in my car, I get into a really bad accident. I don't have to sue my insurance. I can call them and they'll do all of this stuff for me?
That was the intent of the law. That's correct. To simplify at least that portion of it. That's why Michigan, no fault. You don't have to prove fault. You have an insurance, your insurance company, you call them after you're involved in an accident, and they have to consider your claim because they're contracted to do so.
Okay, very good. So I don't have to sue my insurance company. I just have to pick up the phone and give them a call.
Pick up the phone, at least tell them that you're involved in an accident.
Right.
And the hope is that they will be honorable and that they will take your claim and they will pay you according to what the law says.
And what are those things that they would cover?
They would cover the all medical expenses.
All medical expenses.
All medical expenses associated with getting you back to where you were before the accident.
Yes.
Including your rehabilitation services.
Okay.
They would cover your wages for the first 3 years.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So if I, whatever I show them that I make, say for instance, I make $100,000, they will pay me that?
Well, no. Again, that's capped as well. So there's a monthly maximum. So they're only going to pay the maximum that they're required to pay.
Okay. And who determines that?
The state.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't, all right, and what else?
So you have lost wages for the first 3 years, as long as you can't work for the first 3 years. They would also cover the wages, your replacement services.
What's that? Replacement services. I'm not sure.
So that's basically a $20 payment that's made daily that covers you having to have someone replace you to help around the house. Chores, dishwashing, doing the yard. That's a replacement service. They give you $20 a day for that each, for every day that you can't do that.
Okay, and this is all covered in my regular insurance company. I mean, my insurance policy. I don't have to check off anything for replacement costs, for lost wages. This just covers me. Is that my understanding?
It's covered if you have it and you can claim that you've lost it. Meaning you had a job, okay? If you weren't working, then no, you won't get it. But if you had a job, you can prove based on your doctor saying you can't work, you would be entitled to request that they pay you 85% of your lost wages.
Wow.
For the first 3 years.
Okay, so what's so unique and special about Michigan auto no-fault law? I mean, every time I turn around, all I know is I want my rates to go down, but I want quality insurance, and I don't want to be treated differently than somebody else in the suburbs. Now, that's just how I feel, and I'm going to say it, okay, because it's my show. All right, now you ain't got to say nothing, but I'm saying that, okay? So I'm saying, what's so unique about it?
Well, we're the only state in the continental United States that basically has a no-fault system that will pay your medicals for a lifetime.
What do you mean lifetime? 3 years?
No,
what do they determine life?
No, for the rest of your life, meaning if you are injured as a result of an auto accident and that injury requires you to be treated medically, then your insurance company is required by law to pay for those expenses for the rest of your life.
Okay. Now, I
guess
guess
what's unique about Michigan.
Okay, very good. And I don't want to get too technical, with the people that are watching it. But we heard about people who had catastrophic losses, that they were maybe paralyzed or something as a result of being in an auto-related accident. Are you saying that with the system that we presently have, they'll pay for their benefits for as long as they live?
For as long as they live.
Okay.
As
And
long
other
as it's related
states,
to the auto accident.
so all other states don't do that?
Not for a lifetime.
Okay.
That's what makes us unique. It's
Okay.
a lifetime benefit under the present system. And we need to be careful with that term present because the law just changed, but it hasn't taken effect.
Okay.
Yet. But we'll talk about that later.
Why are my rates so high?
Because of the system. Because, again, we're the only state that offers a lifetime medical. That costs a lot of money.
Okay. So presently,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what is required under Michigan law for a driver to have if they're going to operate a car on the roadway?
Okay, if it's their car and they
Yeah.
intend to operate it or have someone else operate it, they have to have at least the basic no-fault insurance.
Now, what's that?
That's the basic. That's basically where you say you are covering and protecting individuals that may be harmed as a result of your negligence. If you're driving, a minimum of $20,000, they can seek that, and a maximum of $40,000 per occurrence. So we call it the 20/40 policy. So basically, what that means is, let's say I get in an accident and I have basic no-fault insurance. If, as a result of my negligence or me messing up, someone is injured in an auto-related accident, the persons that are injured, if they're injured seriously enough, can come after me and my insurance company and say, we want that insurance company to pay us $20,000 each. Let's say there are two people in that car, so that's the 20/40. So $20,000 per person, maximum of $40,000 per incident. So if there are more than two people in the car, then that $40,000 has to be split up. That's the minimum basic no-fault policy.
Okay, very good. Well, let me ask this. What if I'm involved in a car accident and I don't have any insurance? But it's not my fault. Some drunk driver runs into me and I'm killed or seriously injured. Can my family collect?
If it was your car
My car.
and you were allowing that car to be on the road
Yes.
without insurance,
I forgot to pay. Louboutin had a sale. And I was at Somerset.
then you're SOL. You're out of luck. You cannot
What?
file a suit.
But it's not my fault.
Doesn't matter. That's the law. The law says if you are a car owner, a registered owner, you have to have insurance on that vehicle at all times if it's going to be operating on the roadway.
But
Nope, no buts.
but I didn't do anything. And
No.
it's their fault. They admitted, they said they did this. So you're saying that my family can't collect?
Your family will not be able to collect as it relates to you if you are seriously injured, because that is basically, if you will, the punishment. Hate to use that phrase, but that's the result of having no insurance or being not responsible enough to have insurance.
Okay, very good. Under the present law,
Under the
what are
present
the types of coverage that you can get for auto insurance?
Well, so basically, again, you have your basic no fault,
Okay.
which allows you to take care of your medicals and your rehabilitation costs, your lost wages, things like that. If you can get full coverage, that is where you get comprehensive coverage.
Now, what's that?
Comprehensive, basically, well, let's go a collision coverage and comprehensive. So collision is basically where if your vehicle is seriously damaged, okay, and there's a lot of work that's required, but it's not totaled. Collision coverage will allow you to say to your insurance company, hey, pay for this, pay for the repairs to get my car back to where it was. That's collision coverage.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
What's comprehensive?
Comprehensive is everything else that may happen to your car that's not related to a motor vehicle accident.
Give me an
Act of
example.
God, hailstorm, right, comes and it damages your windshield. A tree falls and it falls in your car, it destroys your car. That's where comprehensive will come in and take care of the repairs to your car.
Okay, wow, that's great. Now, what is uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage?
That's another coverage provision that's offered to individuals in Michigan to help them in the event they're involved in an accident, they had insurance, but the other person, the person that actually caused the accident, did not.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So what happens?
So let's say, by way of example only, I'm driving, I'm in Detroit, I have good insurance, and someone runs a red light and hits me. We find out after the accident they had no insurance.
Okay.
Guess what? I would normally sue them if I'm seriously injured. I'd have a right to. But they have no insurance. So what does that mean? That means I can say, if I can prove to my insurance company, the person that hit me, the causes, they had no insurance. I want you to kick in under my uninsured coverage provision and offer me what's available under my own policy. So I'll make a claim against my own insurance company And if it's there and it's contractually, and they're contractually bound, they have to honor that up to the amount that I have, that's there and available.
What's underinsured?
Underinsured is a little more complicated. And basically, I have to give you an example. So let's say I have a policy of $100,000, okay? And someone that hits me, and it's their fault, has a minimum basic no-fault policy of $20,000. But I break my back. I have a serious head injury.
Okay, very good.
So it's very serious. My injury is very serious. So I can only sue them for the minimum of the maximum under their policy, which is $20,000. Now remember, I have $100,000 over here. So there's a difference between what they have and I can get from them and what I have as underinsured of about 80 grand.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So what that means is if I can prove first that I collected and got their maximum 20, and my injury is serious enough, I can come over to my insurance company and say, hey, pay me up to what I had in underinsured, give me another 80 grand.
Okay.
And they will if they agree that my injury meets the qualification and satisfies the fact that I should get $80,000 more.
Wow. Okay, very good. And what is a mini tort coverage? I've heard of that.
Mini tort basically is another statutory provision for auto-insured persons here in Michigan. It basically says if you are involved in an accident and you have to pay a deductible, okay. Which we all do, okay, and let's say that deductible is $500 and then your insurance company covers the rest. If the damage to your vehicle is $1,000 or more, you can say, I want under mini tort to go after the guy that caused my accident who also had insurance and have them pay me back that $500.
Okay, so is that some kind of coverage I have to get through my insurance company?
No, that comes in with the basic no fault.
Okay,
Yes,
all right,
that's
okay.
included.
So actually, I can go after somebody for my deductible. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, very good. But
Up
it's
to
no,
$1,000.
but it's no fault.
But it's still no fault.
So that's the mini tort.
There you go.
You know what? I hope you all are really enjoying this because I am learning so much. If they've got questions, can they call you?
Absolutely. You can call me. That's the law office of J.L. Hawkins, PLLC. Johnny Hawkins, the Warrior Lawyer. You can call me at 248-567-9990. Again, 248-567-9990.
Okay, very good. Okay, and what I wanted to know is what other insurance policies or should we get when we're filling out, our yearly policy? What else should we get?
You can think about adding maybe roadside assistance.
Okay.
That's another provision you could have. What else? Those are the ones that really come to mind.
You know what's so amazing to me? It's like this. People will say when it's time to pay their insurance, well, you know what? I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to get underinsured. I'm not going to get overinsured. Is it really worth having?
Absolutely.
Why?
In the state of Michigan, especially in the Metro Detroit area, statistically speaking, the numbers show, especially in the Wayne County area, in the Metro Detroit area, that there are more than 50% of persons driving on the roadway now that do not have insurance.
What?
Yeah, so that's 1 out of every 2. That's 50, you know what I mean? So yeah, to me it's worth it to have uninsured and underinsured for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Okay. Okay, and so how much does that cost, really?
I think it's reasonably inexpensive in comparison, meaning, yes, auto insurance in Michigan presently is expensive, but again, it's changing next year in July 2020. But to add on that provision for uninsured and underinsured, it's minuscule in comparison to the overall policy. Maybe an extra what? If you had a $100,000 policy, maybe an extra $20-$30 per month,
Oh, so it's really something that minuscule.
Yes.
But what's the likelihood I'll ever need it? I mean, come on. I mean, is it worth it for me to save that, or just, hey, that's I could take my kids to the movies or something for $30. I mean, what do you think?
If you value yourself and your family and you want to make sure that you're protected, it's worth it. Again, 1 out of every 2. That means half the drivers in at least the Detroit area and Metro Detroit don't have insurance. You don't want to not have this in place driving in Metro Detroit. Not now.
Okay. All right, let's talk about something. Now, we talked about the first part. What's the third party area of Michigan auto no fault system in the law?
Third party basically, again, there's first party. We talked about third party basically says if you're seriously injured as a direct result of an auto accident, then you can sue the person that caused the accident.
Okay.
You have to have a serious bodily injury.
So what type of injuries?
Well, it has to either result in death, disfigurement, or a serious impairment to an important body function. You know, something that you require every day to work and exist.
Okay.
A fracture, you know what I mean? Something that happens to your spine, you know, not a soft tissue injury.
Okay.
Something more than a soft tissue injury.
Okay.
It can't be bruised.
Okay, so if I get a bruise.
No.
Okay, very good.
No.
Under Michigan law, can anyone who's in a car accident who's injured sue?
Well, again, the answer would be no. They have to meet the requirements as required by the law, which is that you are seriously injured as a direct result of a motor vehicle accident.
How does pain and suffering come into that?
Well, that's what they're compensating you for under the third party. That's really what it's for. It's compensating you for the pain and suffering that you sustained as a result of being injured. So if I break my back, that's quite painful.
Okay.
If I fracture my hip, I'm gonna be in a lot of pain. And it may take me a year to recover.
Okay.
I'm dealing with pain pills, pain meds, physical therapy, rehabilitation. I'm in a lot of pain. The third party benefit, that under third party, entitles you to sue the driver for your pain and suffering.
Oh.
I'm sorry,
go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
up to the maximum that they have available in insurance. And sometimes even over. It just depends.
Okay. All right. What if I'm in a vehicle? Now, I'm the passenger. We talked about the driver. I'm in the passenger, and I get in my nephew's car, and he don't have any insurance, and I don't know, and I get injured.
So again, it's not your vehicle.
It is not.
So again, but you have insurance?
I do.
Okay, so you again, it's a no fault. It doesn't matter who's at fault. You have to go to your own insurance company and say, hey, provide me with, coverage under the basic no fault. Okay, so that's for the medical, the wage loss, etc. Now, if you have uninsured, guess what? He didn't have it, but you're injured in an auto accident. If he was responsible, you can make a claim against your own insurance company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
again, another benefit.
But what if he does have it?
If he does have
insurance, and I'm a passenger.
Again, you still, if you have insurance, you have to go to your own insurance company. Again, it's no fault. The Michigan no fault system.
But I didn't do anything. I was a passenger.
Michigan no fault. We don't care who's at fault when it comes to your first party benefits. Taking care of your medicals, your rehabilitation expenses, your lost wages for the first 3 years, right? Your replacement service. We don't care who's at fault. If you have insurance through me, I'm contracted as your insurance company to cover you.
Okay, very good. And this is what I want to know. Now, if this sounds wonderful, you just pick up the phone, you get injured, and you get replacement costs, you get people to come over and help you out, you get 3 years of lost benefits. What do I need a lawyer for?
Well, it's not always that easy.
What do you mean?
Meaning sometimes you make a claim, and unfortunately your insurance company doesn't buy what you're saying. They don't believe you, or they want to lowball you, or they give you a tough time. The hope is that at the very least, they don't give you a problem with your first party benefits. They don't give you a problem with your first party benefits. Okay? Meaning you make a claim under what we call the personal injury protection benefits, and they basically say, we'll cover your medicals, we'll cover your your emergency charges, we'll take care of that, we'll take care of your lost wages if you can prove that you're employed. We'll do that.
Okay.
So the hope is that they will at least do that. But sometimes insurance companies can be difficult.
Okay.
And that's when you need guys like me. When they're saying no, when they should be saying yes, then you call me. They deny your claim. I was in an accident.
How often does that happen, though?
Rather often. That's why I'm in business. It happens quite a bit. Insurance companies, unfortunately, sometimes give the little guy a tough time.
Okay, so you're saying that sometimes my own insurance company could deny me,
Absolutely.
even though I paid on time forever, and I paid on time forever, and they can say no?
They can say no. They have to have a basis for saying no. And they go about the business of making sure that they cover themselves. Basically, let's say you get in an accident, and they're not really buying into what you're saying with regard to the extent of your damage or your injury. What they'll do, basically, is have you go see one of their doctors. I shouldn't say their doctors. They'll have you undergo what's called an independent medical examination, IME.
What's that?
That's where they basically say, we want you to go see a doctor that's allegedly independent to then examine you to see if what you're saying is true.
So who determines the doctor that I go to and the IME?
The insurance company.
But how is that independent if they're determining who I go to?
That's what guys like myself and other very good lawyers always say.
What?
That there's no such thing as an independent medical examination. It's just an examination for the quote-unquote insurance for defendants.
So
that's a joke we have.
I don't have a lawyer, okay? I'm just a person who's injured in an accident. And I do what they say because I trust them. Because, you know, I just trust them, okay?
You trust who?
My insurance company.
Okay.
Because, you know, I just think, so my point is that I'm injured and then they can send me to a doctor they choose.
That's the way it works.
So what if that doctor comes up with a different diagnosis than my doctor?
Then that's where the cutoffs begin.
What's that?
They basically say we are no longer paying your claim. We're no longer honoring your claim. We're cutting you off. We're denying your claim from this point forward. And that's when it gets sticky, and that's when you call guys like me, because your doctor, who knows you best, is saying one thing. The doctor that they had you go see is saying another. Okay? Independent medical examination. You know what I mean?
Okay. So when do you call a lawyer?
When you're not sure what your rights are, when you feel that you're being not properly compensated or respected by your own insurance company, and when you just don't know what to do next.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Okay. So those are reasons that they could deny me. What about if my car, and I had a Facebook follower and asked this question. I thought it was a great question. I live in Detroit, okay, but my car insurance says Farmington, where my mom lives. My car is injured. Is in an accident and I get injured. They're saying something about where a car is housed. I don't know what it means. I've been paying on time. They never asked me about that before. I paid, but now they're saying they're not going to pay. Why?
Well, you are obligated under the contract that you have with your insurance company to keep them fully apprised as to where you're living and where that vehicle is. They need to know that. So be honest, always be honest, and tell them where your vehicle is garaged. Don't try to have it be in another place, but yet you're living in another place for the benefit of getting lower insurance. It'll catch up to you.
How do they know? They didn't know when I applied. They didn't check.
Well, hypothetically, were you honest with them? That unfortunately happens. Or let's say there are changes of circumstances where maybe you lived one place when you first got the insurance, but then you moved after the fact. You have to update your insurance company about.
So you're saying if I lived with my mom and she lived in Novi,
yes,
okay, and my insurance is there, then I move to Detroit. I'm moving boxes and everything. Within that time, I sign a lease. I said as soon as I move everything in, I'm going to update it. I get in an auto accident. Can they say, my insurance company say, that because my car was insured in Novi and I'm in transit, I'm moving,
right,
but I did sign the lease.
Right.
Can they deny my claim? If
that normally will not happen. No, because again, we're talking about reasonableness here. If I'm in the process of moving, they give you a bit of time, 30 days, etc., to get things updated. You know, that's fine. But if it's now been 6 months, you're in 3 months later, then that's an issue.
Okay.
And you have a duty to update.
Okay.
Yes.
So, classic example, my daughter's away in college.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
And she's in another state. Okay? And they have, and I put her on my insurance. Okay? But she's driving the car in another state. Will my insurance company pay for that if she's injured? If the car is housed in New Orleans, say for instance, but I don't tell them because she's a college student. That's not their business.
You have a duty to disclose.
What?
Yes, you should always. As a matter of fact, you should probably consider getting insurance in that state.
Wait a minute.
Probably.
Wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. No, wait, no. You wait. Okay? Hold it. She is on my income tax. I'm paying her tuition. I'm paying her car note. I'm paying her insurance. She's in another state. That's my dependent.
Okay.
She gets into a car accident. I'm paying everything.
Sure.
Are you saying that my insurance company can say, because that car was housed in another state, even though she's my dependent, the whole thing, they can deny me that claim?
If she's there for an extended period of time.
She's there for a year.
Yes, you have a duty to disclose where that car insurance company has at least a reasonable opportunity to adjust your rates. Fair disclosure.
Wow. And I didn't even know that. I'm just thinking she's under my policy like she's under my Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay.
What difference? They don't care if she's away at school, but it's different with auto insurance, seems to be what you're saying.
That's correct, because the risk of loss may be different depending on where you are. There may be more accidents where she is there. The insurance company should be entitled to know that, right? So that they can adjust the premium. There may be less accidents, so you may get the benefit of less, paying less. So, yeah, I would say always disclose.
Okay, very good. Listen, what about the new auto insurance law? What is it? Do you know about it?
Of course, but we're getting to know it better. It was just enacted into law, I believe, the end of May, or at least signed into law in May of 2019. It won't take effect, at least for the majority of it, until next July of 2020.
Okay.
I think there's some grand benefits to it. But again, I'm a personal injury attorney that specializes in helping injured persons, not an insurance company and not a medical provider. So again, it depends on who you ask.
Okay, very good. So my question is to you, you're telling me to get all of this coverage. Are you getting a kickback from the insurance company?
No.
I mean, you telling me to buy all this insurance. Are they giving you like a little envelope? So you telling you working for Allstate or something?
Absolutely not. Trust me, they dislike me more than they dislike
So
others.
why have all this insurance?
Because you'd rather be overinsured than underinsured. It's all about protection. And watch this, with the new law that's coming out next year, the rates are going down substantially. So you're getting more for paying less. I mean, we're talking about discounts of upwards of 45%. That's 45% less than you're paying now.
Okay.
So, but for better insurance.
When you say better, what do you mean? I mean, insurance for the rest of my life if I'm injured. How better can that be?
Well, you'll have options next year. You won't have to go with the lifetime benefit. It would be a tiered system. So you can basically say, I want lifetime benefits to continue. Okay, if you choose to do that, because then you have options. You won't be forced to have no fault with lifetime benefits. You'll say maybe 10% versus if you say, I don't want lifetime. I want maybe the insurance company to cover my medicals up to a certain cap. Then you'll save 45%. Or if you want a higher cap, you'll save 35%. So again, it's a tiered system. You have more options. And so you can really control the money coming out of your pocket, basically to have good insurance.
You know, it's amazing. When we started this segment, Johnny was like, how am I going to talk for an hour? We're almost coming upon that. It's so interesting. Let's just wind down a little bit.
Sure.
Quickly, tell me, what are some of the greatest changes that you see with the new law?
Number one.
And how will they help the average auto owner?
Number one, lower insurance rates. You're paying less and getting more. That's fantastic. We, as Michiganders, have been wanting that for a long time. There are more people out there whose auto insurance presently costs more than the car note. Isn't that right?
Okay.
That's true. So watch this. Now, insurance will be more affordable. 45% cheaper. So if I was paying, let's just hypothetical, if I was paying $400 a month, now I'm paying what, $200? Yeah, I can probably afford more cars, as a matter of fact. So lower insurance rates, number one. Number two, I think this is huge. They can no longer request your credit score.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's good.
As a factor to consider when trying to issue you a premium. Okay, so that red line and stuff, that's going to be out too. Territories, they shouldn't be considering that anymore. So I think these are really good benefits. And watch this, the old insurance, the one we're under now, said you only had to have a minimum of $20,000, $40,000, 2040. The new one says you have to have $250 to $500.
Wow.
That's a lot of insurance. That's 10 times the amount, right? But you're paying less. So yeah, I'm all for the new insurance policy.
What's the major tightening of the belt that's coming, do you believe?
Well, again, it's just more regulation through the insurance companies in regulating how people are actually going about getting their medical care. So they're going to be screening more. They're going to be regulating more. They're going to be observing more. They're going to be investigating more. Fraud is going to be very, very low because they're looking at everything that you do. now. They're going to be looking at everything.
So they weren't looking before? I don't understand.
Well, they were, but that was one of the reasons that many people believe that the insurance rates in Michigan were so high. It was because you had certain, maybe, I don't know any personally, certain lawyers or certain providers that were coming together and sort of, quote unquote, allegedly milking the system, meaning doing things that, charging more than they should or alleging things that they should not have. That's not going to happen anymore because we're going to have people really looking into claims a lot more. So be careful. If it's not right, don't go for it. Meaning, be legit. Keep it on the up and up. We're going to be looking.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So who will be doing these investigations?
Well, this will be a body, a specific body that will be created by the state. That will be, and it will be their job to investigate claims and to review things. That's still in the works, so it's a little premature.
So let me say, I put down another address that I'm not living at in another city. Can I be prosecuted under this new system if they're looking at it like that?
You could be under either, but absolutely. Yeah, no fraud. Don't lie. Keep it real. 100. Just keep it real.
Okay.
Yeah, just say what it is.
Well, that's easy for you to say because you're a famous lawyer. I'm out here working every day and I can't afford it. I'm trying to cut corners. And, if I put it in my mom's insurance in Novi, it's going to be a lot less. And I just got to take that chance. Is it worth it, though?
It's not worth it because you don't want to be prosecuted, okay? You don't even want to be investigated. You don't want them to even say they think that you're, quote unquote, engaging in fraudulent activity. It's not a good look.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Can insurance companies ask for my cell phone records if I've been involved in a car accident? Why do they do that? Can I say no, that's my personal business?
In a lawsuit, everything is fair game.
What do you mean?
Meaning, as soon as you decide that you want to initiate a lawsuit, when you initiate that lawsuit, this thing that we call the discovery process begins. And what that means is we get to share information. The insurance company, for the person that is being sued or that you're suing, their lawyers can ask for any and all, pretty much anything, as long as it's reasonably related to lead to something that is more discoverable, that relates to the accident.
Do they do that? Do they ask for people's cell phone records?
You better know it. Your Facebook page, your social media, your cell phone records, where you were 3 hours before, where were you trying to go, where were you en route to? Absolutely.
But that's none of their business. I mean, if it's no fault and they, everybody's, for me to get healthy and why do they want to know that?
Again, let's be clear. First party is different. They're going to cover that, okay, as long as you have your insurance in place and it wasn't fraudulent. We're talking about the third party now. You've sued a person because you're trying to get paid reasonable compensation. You're trying to get paid for having been injured. You become fair game, and everything that you do becomes fair game, including them putting private investigators around to watch you as you're going and coming and going. Oh, I've seen it all.
Without telling me?
They don't have to tell you. You're in a lawsuit. You're fair game now.
So you mean to tell me that if I'm injured, and it was my example that I gave before, I'm in my nephew's car and, I'm injured and I have injuries and now, there's a lawsuit that's going on. You mean to tell me that they can treat me like a criminal by trying to find out where I was going, who I was going to see? They can look on my Facebook. They can go on my social media. They can answer my phone record. They can do all of that. How?
Yeah, but I don't think it's treating you like a criminal. I think it's giving them an opportunity.
But what does that have to do with them? That ain't their business. Where I'm going and who I'm going to see. If I'm injured, if you saying it's no fault, then it ain't nobody's business. It ought to be no fault, none of your business. Is that the law? It ain't no fault, none of your business.
That's good, but no, that's not it. No, okay. The no fault part, you're funny. The no fault part goes to the first party. The third party, you have to prove fault. So they want to try to show that, in fact, it wasn't my fault. It was maybe your fault. Okay, so yes, I've seen it time and time again where the person, my client, will allege that they were injured, they suffered back problems, they can't move, they can't lift, they can't bend. So guess what? You've made that a part of now what you're saying you can't do. A private investigator will be out to see if that's in fact true. They will follow you into the grocery store. You hear me? They will follow you into your car. They will watch you get in your car, get out of your car, go to the grocery store, pick up your babies. It happens. It's private investigative work. It happens all the time. And the third party part. Okay.
So if I say that my back is hurting and I go to a doctor and then I go to pick up my daughter and picking up groceries, they can video that and that's admissible in evidence even though they didn't tell me?
To discredit you in a civil suit if you're alleging that you were seriously injured, like you said, and let's say your doctor says no lifting, no bending, no standing for so and so, no, you know, all this, and so that's what the script is, and that's what you're alleging you can't do. They will watch you to see if that is in fact true. So what I say is, after you file a lawsuit, first of all, be truthful, but most importantly, act as if you're being videotaped at all times because it's fair game.
Wow, that's really interesting. Can that reduce my claim?
It can destroy your claim.
Okay, so because I pick up some groceries, they can say that my injuries weren't that bad?
They can say, or they can make it appear to a jury that you're a liar, that you can't be believed. So if I hurt my back, my doctor issued me a script saying no lifting, no bending. I'm saying I want to be paid because I can't lift and I can't bend and I'm also hurt. But then they watch you go to Myers and you out there lifting gallon jugs of water, bending down to get, you know, your baby and running up and down.
And that charcoal.
And that, you're right, before
and that charcoal. That
okay.
2-pack.
Right.
$7.99.
So watch that. Yeah. It's over.
Okay.
It's over.
So that's something, and you know what? Many people don't even think about it. They think like this. You know what? I've got a lawsuit. I'm going to go on about my life. And so what you're saying, there's a presumption that you may be even being watched once that lawsuit is filed.
That's the best way to approach it.
Okay.
I advise all my clients. First of all, be honest, and then know that there's a possibility, in all likelihood, that they're going to be watching you, and you never know when it's coming. Now, before trial, they give us the videotape. Before trial, they give us the videotape.
Right before? I mean, within like 30 days before, so they don't have to immediately give it to you?
They don't have to immediately disclose. They have to disclose it when they intend to use it for purposes of discrediting you.
So let's go back to this. You know, I get injured in July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
They can video me from July 1st until September 1st, and they don't have to tell me?
Not at all.
Wow.
Had a trial like that before. They watched her. They normally come out and watch you if they're doing it on 3 separate instances and for a certain number of hours. So they may do one early in the morning on one day, then they'll come and do an afternoon shot, if you will, and then they'll do an evening shot, and they'll watch you.
Okay, what about now, are there going to be caps on the amount that you can recover under the new law?
Well, okay, so there are no caps per se in Michigan, no fault injury cases. The maximum.
What's that mean?
That means basically it's unlimited what you can give, but you normally are only going to receive or recover what the other person had in their insurance. So if I have a $100,000 policy and I'm all messed up, I can get that $100,000, but I have to prove that I'm entitled to that $100,000. Okay, so that will be my cap, so to speak. But I would say it's not a cap; it's the maximum recovery that you can get because that's all a person has.
Okay.
Unless they're independently wealthy, then you can go above and beyond that $100,000 policy that they had. That's rare though.
Okay, very good. What does attendant care mean?
Oh my goodness, okay. Attendant care is a part of the first party benefit. It is basically where family members take care of the injured person because a doctor has said this person needs specific care in the house. Maybe supervision, maybe washing and bathing, nursing related, services. So let's say I break my back and so I can't bathe myself anymore. I can't get up and walk around without, possibly falling down. The doctor could say, Johnny requires attendant care of maybe every hour that he's awake.
Who do they tell that to? The insurance company?
They give the script, your doctor, your treating physician gives
like a prescription
to you, the individual, and then you can hire a person, family member even.
What?
Yes, a family member even to provide those services. So doc says you need this attendant care. You need it for every waking hour. You normally sleep 8 hours a day. So for 16 hours, you can have someone basically be paid to offer you attendant care service as long as the script says this gentleman needs or this woman needs attendant care for 16 hours.
Who pays an attendant care?
Your own insurance company under your first party, so your own insurance company.
Okay.
They will pay that.
But what if I'm in a passenger in someone else's vehicle and I'm injured?
It always goes back to your insurance company. Remember, no fault. If I have insurance and I'm involved in an auto accident, I have to make the claim with my own insurance company. And that's a very important point. Make sure that if you're ever involved in an accident, you make a claim timely. Don't be waiting around to make a claim. As soon as you are involved in an accident, make your claim, because contractually, if you don't, they can say you didn't make it timely and deny you benefits as well.
So wait a minute. I get in a car accident, okay, and it's Friday. My back. I'm not feeling that well. I just say, you know what? I'm going to take some Tylenol and I'm going to wait until Monday or Tuesday to give them a call. Should I do that, or should I call immediately?
Well, again, it's all about reasonableness, and again, you have to know what your contract says. If your contract says that you must make your claim within 72 hours, 3 days, then you better do it. But if it doesn't say that, then within a reasonable period of time after the accident, you just want to preserve your right to be able to get benefits. Yeah.
Wow. So now, under the new policy, will there be time limits that my attendant care under the new law can work?
There will be maximum under the new law, which takes effect. Well, again, it's been signed into law, but this attendant care restriction won't take effect until, I believe, 2021. And again, it's new, so we're working it out. You will only be able to recover 56 hours per week per week in attendant care versus what it is now, which the doctor say you are required 24/7 attendant care. So that's
wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you're saying only 56 hours?
That's what the new law says, that a person that's performing attendant care under the new law will only be able to charge 56 hours per week as opposed to the 24/7 if they even need it. Now you can request more if your insurance company offers it, but again, it's going to be contractual. They may offer that extra attendant care, but you have to pay more.
Wow. Okay, so, and now who determines the rate in which the attendant care gets?
That's the reasonable market value for persons that do similar services. So example, basically, if CNAs was at certified nurses aides, let's say in Michigan, normally charge or are paid $12 an hour, if they're on the job and working at a nursing home, then you, as a person that would be doing similar work, you can also charge $12 an hour. You can't charge what a nurse would, an RN would charge, okay? You can't do that. You have to charge the reasonable rate based on what it is you're doing, based on the market rate for what a person that would be doing that on a real job would be being paid.
So what was the average, would you think?
The average is anywhere.
What's reasonable? That's that's what they use. What's reasonable?
Well, again, the insurance companies say reasonable. I fight for the maximum.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get you $15 an hour.
Okay.
Insurance company may say, no, we're only paying 10. Then we'll compromise and we may do $12.75 or $13. So every case is a negotiation. So I'm always negotiating, trying to get the higher rate for my client if in fact they're injured and their doctor says they need attendant care. Because this is typically wifey, this is the husband, this is the adult child that's taking care of mom after she's been seriously injured. So, yeah, but they're doing a service.
So when do you contact a lawyer?
Again, when you're uncomfortable, when you don't feel comfortable dealing with all of this, when you don't want to do all this on your own, when you want someone that knows what they're doing, that's going to fight for you and go in and take care of this so that you can sit back and do what you want to do, just take care of your loved one.
Just going to deviate a little bit. You said someone who knows what they're doing. How long have you been practicing? I forgot to ask.
No problem. 23 years.
Okay.
23 years.
In this area?
In this area of law, yes ma'am, as well as in probate. So yes, 23 years as a licensed practitioner in the state of Michigan doing this type of work.
Okay, so you don't do criminal?
I do not do criminal.
You don't do divorces?
I used to, but I do not do divorces.
Okay, very good. So basically, you specialize in this area. Is that can you say that word?
They frown upon you saying specialize in the state of Michigan. I guess it's an ethical thing, but my main concentration, if you will, what I do most of the time is auto related, auto related and personal injury.
Okay. What about your verdicts? What type of verdicts have you gotten?
Well, I would say I'm pretty good that I don't have many verdicts because most of my cases settle.
What's that mean?
That means we don't have to go to a jury trial. I convinced them before we even go into the court that they should pay me what I want.
So how do you do that? With all them, I mean, they're on my Facebook, my social media. They're on doing all of this stuff. I mean, what do you? I mean, you probably should call a lawyer immediately or something based on what you're saying. If this is what they're doing, I mean, my question is it better that they settle? How do you get them to settle?
You get an insurance company to settle by proving your case to the T or to the nines, meaning you make it indisputable that your client was seriously injured and that everything they have out there to offer your client deserves. That's what I do, okay? So watch this. Only 2% of cases in the country that are filed go to trial.
2%?
2%. 98% of cases in the civil arena settle.
Okay.
So that 2%, when you go in, the statistics are horrific for plaintiffs.
Well, listen, I mean, how much do they have to pay you?
They pay me a third.
So I don't have to pay you hourly?
Not on a personal injury file if the agreement says that my fee is conditioned upon me recovering for you.
So with all of the skill and expertise that you have, I don't have to pay for that?
You're paying for it, but it's at the end, after I do what the heck I'm supposed to be doing, working for you, getting you paid.
Okay. Oh wow. So you don't get a bill, you don't send out a bill weekly to your clients with billable hours. I think that's what they call. I'm learning that.
No, I don't. I'm not civil defense. I'm plaintiffs, and it's contingent. So basically, no. If I don't recover, I don't get a fee.
What?
Yes. But again, that's up to me. That's then up to me to make sure that I'm screening my cases, making sure that my clients are being legit, and that we have a good case and a good basis for them to be, paid. So I don't just take every case.
Okay, so there's a screening that you go through.
No question. They should be screening. You should be screening your lawyer, okay? And your lawyer should be screening you, because this is a relationship that you'll be getting into.
So my question is to you, to our Facebook family out here and social media, period. So what am I looking for in a lawyer if I'm going to get a lawyer? Maybe not you, maybe I'm in another city, another state. What am I looking for in a lawyer?
Don't just go with the guy that's the biggest and the best, quote unquote, on television. Don't do that. We're talking about you being able to relate to the person that is going to be helping you with something that has been life-changing. So this is someone that you connect with them, when you meet them. You believe that if you believe in them, you believe they're going to fight for you, okay? And it's not always about the big win, okay? You want someone that you can relate to, that you can talk to behind the scenes, because most of the stuff that you're doing is behind the scenes.
So how do you go beyond getting those $10 million that you see all around? How does that happen then? I don't know.
Well, the truth is, basically, the verdicts and the settlements are all based on the extent of the injury and the damage, okay? People getting $10 million, you wouldn't ever want to be that person. I wouldn't want you to be that person. It's not a good thing to be that injured.
So if I break my arm, I can't get $10 million?
No.
If I break my leg, I can't get $10 million?
No, I can get you about $75,000 to $100,000 now.
Wait a minute, but I can get $10 million if I break my leg?
No.
So when it's...
Wait a minute, if you're Michael Jordan, maybe.
Okay, okay. So a lot of times when I hear that people have gotten $10 or $20 million, that doesn't necessarily mean for a regular, ordinary, traditional injury.
No, that's catastrophic.
Okay, that means that...
Darn near dead.
Okay, all right,
But you made it. And so some people would tell you, I've had clients that say, I wish I were. Believe it or not, I've had them say, I wish I were deceased. Those are really, really bad cases.
What are assigned claims plans?
Assigned claims plan, okay, so basically this is the division that in Michigan has been established that covers folks that don't have any other insurance to go to cover their first party benefits.
So what's that mean?
Basically, I'm involved in an accident. I didn't have insurance, but I'm a Michigan resident, and the other person didn't have insurance, but I have medical bills and expenses, and I maybe have lost wages. So the assigned claims plan is an organization that says you can come to us if you meet the requirements. You're a Michigan resident. you're involved in an auto-related accident, and you want to make a claim, and we will cover you.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
This is a lot. How'd you learn all of this?
23 years.
Okay, very good. So, that's that's a lot to know.
It is a lot.
And so, to our viewers who are, like I said, in Michigan, not in Michigan, what are we looking for? How do I know if my lawyer is somebody who seems to possess the knowledge that you've demonstrated here? You know, do I ask about how many cases have been settled? Do they have cases similar to mine? I've said this before and I kind of don't know, and I want people to know, what am I looking for? What would you be looking for if you were me or if you were them?
I would follow your instinct and intuition. I would say this is nothing more than a profession that requires people skills and hard work. So don't just pick, the guy, so to speak.